what it feels like, but
Uh,
different book.
uh,
He was teaching from the Quran, but he teaches just like you,
mhm.
um, different books. So it's been like fascinating for me to see. And to be honest, it always led me to the question of how can you be religious when you know the truth?
Right.
And he was more religious because he knew the truth. And it was just always perplexed me.
Mhm. Well, well, it's two things. One, just if we're talking about, so I guess it's so there's two things. One, it is sunk cost. Two, it is depending on what we're talking about. If we understand, if we're talking about connotatively or denotatively, the word religion. So, like, so um, when we talk about being religious, if we really know what that means, we're talking about, to your point, it goes to when you know the truth and you have an understanding of something, that's really what religion means. What most people what most people talk about in religion is is something is something they may know about theoretically, but they don't actually have a relationship with the thing. It's like I know it's like I know Michael Jordan. I know of him. I can read his stats off. I can show I can I know that I've seen him on TV. But I don't know him. I can't call him. I don't have a relationship with him. So I can't get from him what may be available if I had a relationship just because I know of him. And a lot of people have a connotative religion, which means they have something they know of and about, but they don't really know it. They don't have a relationship with it. So then what happens is we that's why a lot of people, even though they are quote unquote religious, they still suffer a lot and they don't really live much better lives than people who aren't religious because they actually are not they don't have a relationship with this thing that they study any more than the people who don't study that thing at all. um,
Yes.
sunk, sunk cost means sometimes you just get so invested in something you can't afford not to believe it. You like you feel like I just got to stick with it because I've been with this thing so long that I just have to stick with it. Even though it hasn't worked or it's not working or I'm confused or I'm lost or I but I've invested so much into this thing that it's sunk cost. I'm just going to stick with it because of my investment. And even though I don't have any fruit on my tree, I don't have anything that points to me that's telling me that this is actually working or actually true, or I know what I'm saying, or I know what I'm believing, that I know, like accessing the relationship, like speaking with you, there's only so much I can get from you with the level of our relationship because I don't know you and you don't know me all that deep. So I can only ask you certain questions. I can only ask you to do certain things for me or with me because of the depth or shallowness of our relationship, right? And a lot of times
Hey, that's insane. I love it.
we try to access um, we try to access a religion realizing that that's not ever what it was supposed to be. It's a relationship that you're supposed to be accessing, but you can't access that if you don't have it. And a lot of times people have been connotatively religious, so they've been going to church or they've been going to the mosque or they've been going to places for so long, but they can't afford not to they can't afford not to back out of it. They've gone too far. They've come too far. And they're like, and if I let this go now, who am I? What am I? Well, what do I believe next? Well, what am I to say about all this time I've spent? Right. So um it's a very it can be a very tricky thing, right? Number one. And then number two, um, when you start to really understand, to your point, really what it is you're reading and really what it's saying and really what it means because you've established a relationship. It's like when you have a relationship with someone, you not only know what they say, but you also know what they mean. And a lot of times when you don't have that relationship, you only know what someone says, but you don't know what they really mean. And in human conversation, we only we only really benefit to the depth of our level of understanding, not necessarily just hearing. So all of our conversations are filtered through, um, they're put in context. Like, what are we talking about in general? And so, based on what you and I exchange information, we're always filtering through the context of the conversation, right? That's why they say body language is what anywhere between people differ 75 to 85% because of you just get a better understanding of someone when you see their movements, their eyes. You can see their body. You get a better understanding of their intensity or really what they're thinking or feeling. So, anyway, saying that to say it's a lot that goes into it. But to your point, yes, when you really do know the truth, it's not religion the way people think it is. None of it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about a relationship with yourself, about understanding who you are, about understanding who you are. And when you don't do that, it just keeps it connotatively religious. It keeps it like something you're supposed to revere, but you can't touch, almost like walking through a museum, right? Or a special room in your house, the all white room, where you can't sit down, can't touch anything, but you have this thing that everybody's supposed to look at, right? So, yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying.
Yes, and thank you so much for that thoughtful response. I found that the higher, the deeper you go in religion, as what how you teach and how my father taught, is that you get to understand that it equals into self love. And
Mm,
once you have that high level of self love, you
mm,
then love everyone. You realize
mm.
we're all petals on the same flower. And it just makes for a much more loving and creative world. And that's really the true religion. And that's what we don't hardly have good conversation about. So thank you for this every Saturday call. And hello, Rich Rising to everyone.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That's why I tell everybody the most important person in your life is you. We've been trained and taught and told that it's everyone else, but that's not factually possible, factually real, and it's not factually sustainable. You can only give what you have. And if you don't love yourself, what do you think you're giving to other people? That's like if you don't have $1 million and somebody knocks on your door and asks for it, how are you going to give it to them? Everything starts with you, just like because just like everything starts with God, right? Whatever you want to call that entity, everything starts there. Everything starts with the source. And to your point, it is all the information, the true religious meaning. um, when you so religion has a couple different. It comes from the Latin word religare, which means it means a couple different things. One, it means to know something from almost like to know something so intricately down to the finest detail, almost like if you took a brick off of a building and you just chopped it down all the way until it went to fine powder. You've taken it from its solid form all the way down to its most infinitesimal representation. That's how well you know something. That's one of the definitions. Two is a it's a ceremony that illustrates the awareness of something. So, like a birthday party, that's a religious ceremony. A anniversary party, that's a religious ceremony. It is a ceremony that's thrown in the awareness of something. Oh, you're turning 15. Oh, you've been married 50 years. Oh, those are religious ceremonies. It is a ceremony that's thrown in the awareness of information, right? Celebrating an awareness of information, right? So when you start to understand really what that word really means, then you understand religion. To your point, is really an understanding of self and all the ways that you celebrate and express that awareness of self, that knowledge of self. That's why it says, "To thine own self be true." And first law, right? And um, um, like from Hermes Trismegistus, or what they call Thoth, right, is know thyself, right? So without that, you don't have anything to offer anyone. But we have been conditioned the opposite way, where it's to give everything to everyone, and people are basically offering things they don't have. As counterfeit. It's counterfeit love, counterfeit respect, counterfeit. That's why it doesn't last when things come up, when it's under the light of scrutiny. It doesn't last because it's not true, because it's not coming from something that you have within you. That reservoir of yours is dry, so to speak. So religion, true kind of, denotative meaning is basically the knowledge of self and all the awareness that comes from that, and all the ways that is celebrated and expressed as a person, in a person, and to your point, as a result, to other people. You're able to give it to other people as a result as well. So that's absolutely true. You're absolutely correct. And today, that's a good dovetail into what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start off. With starting off, and we'll see what that means when we get started. Now, all right. So, happy Saturday, everyone. Good to see everyone. Thanks for coming. It's always good to see everyone. Happy Saturday. All right. We are going to start off with doctor. Right. We're going to start off with that slide, doctor, so that we start off in the beginning. I want everybody to understand the beginning. Did I send you that one?
You did, but yesterday I shared the slide early, so I'm waiting for you to
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
cue the slide.
There you go. That's right. Good work. Good work. I'm glad I thought about that. Good work. I'm glad I thought about that. All right. So this is a word we've discussed before. So this will be for anybody who hasn't answered this one before. Doctor. What does that word mean? I'm going to the doctor. I have a doctor.
Feel free to
What is that?
unmute or raise your hand.
The one that cures all illnesses?
Okay. That's what do we say? We're talking about the beginning. So you said the one that cures all illnesses. That's a really good answer. All right. Who else?
A specialist?
A specialist. Okay. One more.
An expert?
An expert. So the one who cures all illnesses, a specialist, and an expert. All right. Okay. Put it up.
Okay.
Remember those definitions. What's the first thing it says? Velvet Loves. What's the first thing it says?
Church father.
Yeah. And go ahead. Keep going.
Church father from Old French doctor and directly from medieval Latin doctor, religious teacher, advisor, scholar, in classical.
Right. So religious teacher. Isn't that funny?
It is.
Isn't that funny? That's what a doctor is. See, a doctor, we have, so I'm gonna, like I said, we're gonna start from the beginning of the beginning. So like Walter said, right, somebody who cures everything, essentially. That's what a religious teacher is supposed to do. See, we think we're supposed to cure the body by curing the body, and you can't cure the body if you don't cure the mind. That's what a doctor is. It is a religious teacher. It is somebody who knows the truth first and is able to express it themselves. And is able to then heal other people with the knowledge of self that they have. To awaken that knowledge of self, because we all have the same knowledge of self, but we're all not awake to that level of knowledge of ourselves. That's what teachers are for. They're to awaken the gifts that are within you. They don't put them there. They don't place them there. But what their job is to awaken the ones you have, that we all have. So a doctor is a religious teacher. A doctor is the doctor of the mind. It's the doctor of the mind. It has nothing to do with the body originally, because the beginning has nothing to do with the body. In the beginning was God, is I am. I am is not a body. So anytime you are trying to deal with, I'm going to say this way, deal with life, The first place you have to go is where life actually is in the mind. We keep thinking life is in this 5 sense world, but that's not where life is. That's where life is expressed. It is where it is, but it is where life is expressed. It's not where life is created. What you're looking at in physical form is the end result of something. It's not the beginning. And so when we keep trying to deal with the end of things, all we're doing is rearranging chairs on the Titanic. All we're doing is trying to manipulate the outcome, but you can't manipulate the outcome to change it, really. You just try to make it look different, but you don't change it. You can only change by creating, because creating is what makes the end. That's what the end reflects, is the beginning, right? So it says religious teacher. It's saying somebody who's teaching you knowledge of self. That is what the denotative meaning of doctor is. The whole note, the actual meaning of doctor. It is of the mind, not of the body, right? If we go back to it, please, just so I can show you. So we talked about, right? What does it say from the agent noun docere? It means to show, to teach, cause to know, to make, to appear right. So how do you make something appear right? How do you teach? You do it by teaching, by showing, by causing to know. That's what a religious teacher, advisor, and scholar is. This is of the mind. How do you make something right? You fix it in the mind. You show it, you teach it in the mind. Then that's why the meaning of, what does it say, the holder of the highest degree in a university. A doctorate, what does it say? Hence, teacher, instructor, learned man, one skilled in a learned profession, right? So this is from the 1400s. The sense of medical professional, person duly licensed to practice medicine, grew gradually out of this. It grew gradually out of that. Right? A medicinal doctor, right? That's mid 1500s. So what we use connotatively today grew gradually out of the true meaning. And the true meaning is someone that's teaching you basically how to think. That is how you cure anything physically, is by curing it first mentally, because mentally is where the cause is. The body is only an expression of the mind. It is not independent of the mind. It is interdependent with the mind. It is an expression of the mind. The car is not independent. It's interdependent on the driver. So the car going down the highway is just an expression of the driver saying we're going to go on the highway. The car doesn't pick the highway. It doesn't pick the direction, the speed. It doesn't pick anything. It's just used by the picker, by the driver, by the one actually in charge. That's what a doctor is. It is someone controlling the mind, helping to teach and show and cause the mind to be something. And you use that to express, you use the body to express what you know. The beginning is always the mind. Always. That's not positive thinking. That's not being a good person. That's not choosing to think good thoughts. That's not, all those things come out of it, to Velvet Love's point, when you know better, but it's not like, it's not voluntary in the sense of what thinking actually is. We're always thinking, because that's the creative mechanism of the physical expressions and experiences that we're having. And when you don't know how to think, you just create disaster. Like somebody who doesn't know how to cook. You can give them a stove, it's gonna burn everything up, burn themselves up, burn the house up, right? But they're using the same apparatus as somebody who does know how to cook. But it's not the apparatus that makes you what you are, what you aren't. It's who are you when you walk up to the stove. You either can cook or not already. The stove is not going to help you or hurt you in that sense. It's just going to express your knowledge or your ignorance, what you have or what you don't, who you are or who you aren't. Right? Okay. So next, let's ask next, business. What does that word mean? Since most of you on here are entrepreneurs, business, what does that word mean?
Mm, mm, Money exchange?
Yeah, the operation
It's
of
okay.
sales.
Say that part again. Say it again.
The operation of sales.
Okay.
Exchange of goods and services for money.
Okay. Veronica, please put in business and then pull it up when you're ready. Okay. Anyone else? What does it say?
Care, anxiety, occupation.
Okay.
Anxiety.
Hmm?
Wow.
Care, anxiety, occupation, right? The original sense is obsolete, as is the Middle English sense of what? State of being much occupied or engaged,
So you
right?
could be busy doing nothing.
Okay, so what is telling you care, anxiety, occupation, careful, anxious, busy, occupied, diligent, right? State of being much occupied or engaged. What is business?
A state.
I'm sorry?
Is it a state?
The
It's a
thing
state.
that, yeah, the thing you pay attention to the most.
Well, yes, called business, but it's a
Yep.
state, right? First. So doctor deals with what? A doctor deals with what?
The mind.
Yeah. Okay. What is a business? Walter, what is a business?
The state of your being,
A state. So what does a doctor deal with?
the state of your mind.
State of your mind.
Spiritual advisor.
It deals with it. Well, it's there because we are spirit. And it's advising you, just like as a parent, you advise your kids to do something. You're advising them, you're helping them, you have more knowledge than them, and you're helping them to grow by advising, helping them to be, to grow, to become the best versions of themselves. By advising them, you're keeping them healthy and whole to grow up. What does it say? The sense of a person's work, occupation, that which one does for a livelihood, is recorded late. The sense of that which is undertaken as a duty is from late. The meaning what one is about at the moment is from late 1590s. So the point is the original is early and the other ones are mid or early and the other ones are late. So what you think of as business is connotative. That's not actually what it is. What it actually is a state of being. It's a state of being much occupied or engaged. So business is a state of mind. It's a state that expresses itself physically. A doctor deals with a state of mind so that you can express yourself physically the way you want to. A business is a state of mind. So a doctor or a teacher, anytime they're teaching you about business, the first thing people should be talking to you about is your mind. How many people get that when they go to business? When you're dealing with people and they're teaching you about business, how many people talk to you first about your mind?
Most of it, but now I fully understand it, especially with the disease list in there that
Yes.
leads to unemployed, an unemployed
Yes.
state of being, an unemployed state of mind.
Correct. That's what makes you unemployed physically.
Yep.
See, people think unemployed physically came first. That's like heaven and earth coming before God. Does anybody think that's true?
Oh, I find that so interesting because to me, heaven and hell is just your nervous system and depends on the state of that. But I never thought business is also just the state of your nervous system.
It is the state of consciousness that you occupy based on who you that you occupy, and you occupy it based on who you are. So think about business like a house. Let's just say all of us have homes. But all of us have homes, but don't all of our homes look different?
Yes.
So then if we're calling home, if all of us are calling home the same and we're calling business the same, so then what makes our homes different one from another?
The way we design them.
Based on what?
The soul
The
of it.
state of mind, how we
Based
think
on
about
what? Yeah, based on what?
How we express ourselves.
Our desire.
Based on what? Based on what?
Who we believe ourselves to be.
Thank you. That's the beginning. Everything starts in the beginning. We're talking today about the beginning. Look at how many things we chase down the line. So it's literally, if you taught a child how to count, you know what we're doing? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's missing?
The beginning.
The
One
1,
through
2,
five.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
the ones.
So just think about how many times today we went 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 already. When I asked what a doctor meant, which number were we at? 1 or 5?
5.
When we
We were at
asked what a
5.
business meant, right? When we asked what a business meant, what number were we at? Were we at 1 or 5? Or closer to 1 or closer to 5?
Close to the 5.
When you talked about busy lists, has anybody ever heard that word and understood that it meant unemployment? Anybody?
Not
No.
me. That was first time
Not
seeing
at
it.
all. Powerful.
Right? Right. So why do we think we struggle with something? Would it be weird if you don't understand something? Is it weird to struggle if you don't understand something?
All the time.
No.
Yes. It's considered weird. It's not weird, but it's considered weird.
Well, you're right. It wouldn't. If you don't speak Chinese and somebody gets on here speaking Chinese and you don't understand, is that weird?
No.
No.
No. So if you don't know what a business is or what busy list is, and you struggle, is that weird?
No.
No.
No. If you don't know what something is, how are you supposed to succeed? If you don't understand what it is, how are you supposed to succeed? And then how are you supposed to maintain the success? Because even if you get it, then what do they say? More money, more problems. So meaning you're stressed when you don't have success. Then you feel stressed when you do have success because now you're worried about keeping what you were stressed about not having. Now you're stressed about keeping it. But how are you supposed to feel if you don't even know what it is?
Because you never understood what it was to be it in the
Correct.
first place.
Correct. And so we are starting with 5, 6, 7, 8. Hell, we starting half things. We're starting at 50, 51, 52, 53. And we're wondering why haven't you ever thought why isn't this working? I've been up all night. I paid for this class. I've been in this course. I went to this seminar. I have this and I have that and I have this and I have that. I'm doing all the things, right? Why isn't this working?
You know what's funny is this made me think of Hope. So the group the mentorship group that I'm in for business.
Yeah.
All they teach is psychology. And everyone no, not everyone. There's been people in that group that complains about what they're teaching because they're like, well, where's the business being taught? And their thing is, if you don't know the psychology, human psychology, you don't know business. And that's exactly what this made me think about. Like, oh, wow, I can name one group that's doing it right that I'm in. That's all they teach is psychology.
Because that's the foundation in the sense of whether you want to use the word psychology, it's all the same thing. But yes,
Right.
when you're teaching the mind, once you understand what things actually are, then you can do anything with it that you want, right? Once you understand what fire is, right? You can light your stove, right? You can light your fireplace. You can start a fire outside. You can do so many things with fire once you understand what it is, right? You can do so many things with things once you understand what it is. The problem is no one's telling us what things actually are, meaning everyone is only talking about the effect. Nobody talks about the cause. Nobody's teaching you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, this is what's causing the thing that you're seeing. And so everybody is wrestling and wrestling with what they see, and nobody's thinking about, how did this get here in the first place? Who am I in the first place? What is a doctor in the first place? Your mind. What is busy? What is business? It's a state that the mind steps into and then operates this state as the mind it is. So, to Velvet Love's point, if you don't know yourself or love yourself, it's almost like if you, let's just say all of us have a house, let's say, and let's say all of us have a 2-year-old. So we open the door and we let the 2-year-old walk into the house. What do we expect that 2-year-old to do with that house? And what is that 2-year-old going to do for itself or us in that house? What are we going to get from that, from being in that house at 2 years old? What are we going to get from that?
Nothing.
Why not?
They don't know any better. They don't know what to do other than make a mess.
They don't even understand what it is that they stepped into.
Correct. So then what do we think, or why do we think we feel the way we feel when you have a business?
Because we have no idea what we stepped into.
Because your level of awareness is not sufficient enough to run a home. You can be in one, but you can't run it.
And what we do for the 2-year-old, we soothe, educate, and we're gentle, but we don't do that for ourselves.
Correct. That's why we'll do anything for our kids, because especially when they're young, forever, but especially when they're young, because we see the best of ourselves in our children. But we don't realize a lot of times we've seen the best of ourselves in our children, and that we've lost that perspective of our own self.
Suzanne had her hand up.
Okay. Yes. We lost that perspective. We don't have that perspective of ourselves anymore. We only have it for our kids. So we'll do everything for our kids. We'll give them, to your point, we'll teach them, give them second chances, third chances, fourth chances, this or that, the other. They fall off the bike. Oh, get up. So let's see. Let's see. Who do I want to pick? Let's see. Let's pick Velvet Love. Let's pick you. So let's just say you have a child. Let's just say, because I don't know if you do or don't, but let's just say you have a child and you're teaching them how to ride a bike, and they fall off the bike. What do you say?
I say, come on now. You gotta put salt in that wound and keep it moving. Just kidding. That's what this Marine say. But I say, come on, it's okay. We gonna get back on it. You got this. Let's get
Wonderful.
it. Yes.
Wonderful. So in the adult world, when we're talking about business and you fall off the bike, what do they call that?
Failure.
You failed. What are you doing? You're a rookie.
Taking an L.
Failure. And guess what? Not
You
only do
be
they call
crying
it
and
that,
eating ice cream at night.
so not only do they call it that, they call it that, they tell you to do that, and they tell you to do it fast. So that'd be like you putting your child on the bike, pushing them on the bike and tell them to hurry up and fall and just get it over with quick. Just hurry up and fall. And after they fail, then you call them a failure. Now, how motivated would they be to get back on that bike?
Well, as a child who failed, I wasn't motivated at all.
Right? It is like, so look at the difference of what we tell ourselves. If it's our children, we're saying learn, because we understand that falling off a bike, you're learning how to do something. You don't call it failure. You're just making adjustments because you're becoming familiar with what it takes to stay on the thing. But you wouldn't even use that word because you understand what that word implies. But yet we have no problem using it for ourselves.
But when it comes to
Learning how to run a,
business,
say it again.
I mean, no, okay. And thank you, Vero, and good morning. I was watching on YouTube. I just switched back over to Zoom. When it comes to business, because if you look at it, society tells you all the time, like most businesses fail within 2 to 5 years. No businesses can surpass that. So the ones that do, they always look like they're so elite and so creme de la creme. But there's been people who've been penniless, no education, and can succeed and make and create a 10 billion, $100 billion business. And then there's people who have MBAs and they can't survive in business more than a month or two. So society and books, depending on the book you're reading or the class and lectures you're getting, they can position it as if business is something that is so incomprehensible that only the strongest of the strong are able to survive. Oh, you failed at business, you can't work for yourself, you can work for somebody else, because it's easier and someone telling you what to do all the time. However, even if you go into a business and you see ways to make it better, business owners will feel threatened and not want to help you to succeed, to make their business more successful, because they don't like change. So when you're saying that mentality is the root in order to be the true I am, that's your foundation. And then, of course, your branches can spread. So when the roots spread, so the branches spread, because the tree, you are that vessel that grows. In business, you're stating then, and Vera was saying that she has a group that basically teaches you how the mind operates based off psychology and understanding and cultivating that essential root in order for you to grow your business successfully. Because most companies, most teachers, they don't always tell you the proper structure to make sure that your business is successful. It's like they gathering stones and saying, well, try to build each stone together, although they don't give you the links that you need to use to connect it. So it's very hard. Something that could technically be so easy always perceives to be so hard, because it's like, why are we struggling to do something that is definitely capable of being completed? And even if they say they have a system, it's like the system doesn't work for everybody, even if they do the same things. So why is that?
So it's like everybody having the same, everybody can say they have a house. Everyone's house looks different because everyone is different. And so who we are is what determines what our house looks like, not the house itself. The house doesn't decorate itself. The house doesn't choose its paint colors, what's in it, what's not in it. The house is decorated because the house is not a living thing. A business is not a living thing. It's just a state that's occupied by a living thing. So the business looks just like the house. It looks like the occupant. And so that is what, when we talked about, that's why we start off with a definition of doctor. Doctor is the teacher of the mind. So some of us have had good doctors, some of us have had bad doctors, some of us have had no doctor, so to speak, right? Where we don't have necessarily information, we're just out here fishing, right? Looking for it. But the point is that, to your point, a house is an expression of the occupant. A business is an expression of the occupant. So when we are what we're doing here is giving the information that once you understand it, you can do anything you want with it. You can have any business you want with it, because the business doesn't matter what business you do. There's no inherent successful or inherent failing one. There is no industry that's just going to make it no matter what. There is no, you are going to have to make that thing work, because a business is not a living thing. Only you are a living thing. So when you get the foundation of who you are, what you are, and how to best express yourself as a result of that knowledge, then you can do anything. You can, now you're not a 2-year-old walking in the house, you're a 22-year-old, you're a 32-year-old, you're a 42-year-old walking into the house. So now you understand what your options are, how you want things to look, how you want things to be, and then you can do that. You can decorate your house any way you want, and then you're happy. Business is the same thing. But the reason I'm using it, like I said, is because most of you are entrepreneurs on here, and the reason, and most of us are not being told 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're starting off in 25, 30, 35, 40, something else, and we're missing the fundamental foundational things that it takes to be able to express ourselves the way we want to express ourselves. Right. So once you understand who you are, how this works, how to think, and things like that, then you can create anything. That's why I don't have to tell people what they should be or shouldn't be. Once you understand who you are, then you can choose. You understand then that you can choose, and you understand that there is no stopping you. There is no one to stop you. There is no thing to stop you. You are all there is. You are all that is. Right. And once you understand that, then you go out and choose what is the thing that best reflects who I am being, who I'm aware of being, who I'm choosing to be. And then that will then be the thing you pick, and it will be what you pick as a reflection of you, and how it goes and is going and went is also a reflection of you. So you're already predicting your future basically by who you're being and what you're doing as an expression of that. Right. So that is why we're talking about the beginning, right? The very beginning, not 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, starting with 1. It's like we teach our children 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Nobody starts at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in a lot of areas of life, we're starting with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We just don't know it because we don't know. One has never been introduced to us. 2, 3, 4, 5 have never been introduced to us. So we don't realize they're missing. So we're going out in the world with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To your point, like it's almost like we're trying to see leaves or branches and there's no root. There's no roots in the ground. There's no root at all. We're just looking for flowers and expressions of something that requires a root to express flowers, right? So that is why we're doing what we're doing today, especially is going back to the beginning. And because business is the same thing as anything, health, business, it's all the same thing. They're all the same thing. They're all states that you occupy based on your awareness of being. And based on that awareness of being, are you walking in that house as a 2-year-old or a 22-year-old, 32-year-old, right? It's based on your level of awareness. That is the level at which you're expressing yourself, and you're decorating your house or not. You have groceries in your house or you don't. You're succeeding, so to speak, or you're not. As a 2-year-old, it's hard to do anything that's going to be beneficial to the house. It's going to be tough. You're not mature enough to do that yet, right? So we don't put our kid, a 2-year-old, in there and be like, hey, I'm hungry. Hey, where the groceries at? Hey, how do you fix the shower? How does the shower work? Hey, how do you flush the toilet? If we're asking a 2-year-old, we're going to be, but that is the level of awareness that we're operating in a lot of areas of our life because we haven't had a doctor. We haven't had a teacher. We haven't had someone who's actually showing us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? That is why we're all here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you get that, then you can do whatever you want to do. That's why I harp on it. That's why I harp on you every single time. Who are you? What are you? Do you know what that is? Do you know how that is? Do you know how to use that? Do you understand that? Because once you do, then you can apply that. That's all it takes. Every area of life is the same. It's just an expression of your understanding of it. And that understanding of it is an expression of you first. Once you have that down, the rest is easy work. The rest is easy work, right? So anybody have any questions on that before I move forward? Will you pull up the other slide I sent?
I would
Yes.
just like to add to it. So self-soothing, we have to do that more as especially listening to these calls. I think we have to understand the bottom line messages, which are always abundantly clear, but self-soothing, self-loving, and self-parenting ourselves are essential to this work. Be the gentle parent you always wanted if you didn't have that example, and be thankful for the example you did have that you could rise above. But be loving to self, and that's always the bottom line theme.
Well, when you know who you are, what else would you be? When you know I am that I am, and there is no other, what else would you be? If there is no other, who else is there to be nice to you, quote unquote? Huh. Who else is there to love you, quote unquote? Who else is there to give you what it is you're quote unquote looking for? Who else is there?
There wasn't
Right?
being
So
anyone else, it'd just be you.
correct. So then, like we talked about in the business thing we a couple weeks ago, right? If you wake up today and you say, you know what, rent is due, I need $1,000, and you sell cars like we've been talking about in the group, and you wake up and you're like, I need $1,000, and so now you're like, I need $1,000 to make rent, and you sell cars. So when you wake up that morning, you say, okay, I need to make this money, and you go out and somebody approaches you on the car lot. What is that person that approaches you on the car lot? What do they represent to you?
The car salesperson trying to sell you a car.
No,
You're making
I'm
your
sorry.
dreams reality
What is your dream that morning?
to get this certain car.
No, as the salesperson.
No, to sell the car.
To sell the car.
You believe
Why?
Yeah, because you believe
Why?
that's your supply.
Right. Well, rent is due today, right?
Right.
So if rent is due and you need $1,000 by the end of the day, and you sell cars, and you're at work now, and somebody comes in the car lot, what does that person represent to you? As that person who needs to pay rent, what is that? Rent, right? They represent rent, my $1,000. So you're aware of that, right, Tamika? You're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do you not think that the person who approaches you, do you don't think that they're aware of that as well?
Yes, they are.
Meaning intuitively, instinctively, they are. Because, they say shark, you can smell blood in the water with sharks, or, dog sense fear, meaning people, if you woke up that morning and you had to sell that, and you had to get $1,000, and you went to work today and you sold cars, then that $1,000 in your mind has got to come from selling cars. So when you woke up and you left your house, what state did you leave your house in?
In a state of
Motivation.
Of what?
Of need.
Yeah,
Need.
need.
Of need. So then what do you think you're approaching that person as?
A needy person.
As need. And they define that as, and they interpret it as needy. So then,
like you have commission broth.
so then that person clutches their pearls, because you're not there to help them. You're there to help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're just trying to use them to do it, but they perceive that. So you're not there to help me get the best car. You're here to sell me anything that'll get you $1,000. But that's good for you. That's not good for me. So why would I give my money what's good for you and not get what I need? But when you leave the house in need, all you can think about is need. That makes sense. So when you wake up instead and you say, okay, it's $1,000 today. You know what? All my bills are paid. All my needs are met. I always have more than enough, right? That bill is paid. Now, when you're doctoring yourself, when you are talking to yourself, when you're telling yourself, when you're declaring the end from the beginning, when you're saying, whatever I desire when I pray, believe I have received it and I will, right? Or death and life are in the power of my tongue. When I give to myself and I complete myself before I leave the house, now I leave the house as a whole person. Now, when I leave the house and as a whole person, when I walk out and I see this person on the parking lot, I don't perceive them as the mechanism or the vehicle to meet my need, because I've already done that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see them as a person whose need I can meet, because I'm not needy. So now what happens is they perceive you as a person who can meet their need. So they're willing to give you what they have because they want what you're offering.
Mm-hmm.
You're both exchanging what you have. It becomes an exchange. I have the money, you have the car. I have what you want, you have what I want. But neither one of us, we can both say we need it or we don't. But the point is, we are whole. And I have the money, so I'm not asking you for the money. I'm coming to the lot with the money. I have the car, so I'm not asking you for the car. I already have it. So what we're both exchanging is what we already have. So we're both exchanging it as two whole and complete people. So it's an exchange. Nobody feels robbed or taken care or taken advantage of. You're not robbing Peter to pay Paul, because I am is Peter and Paul. So you're exchanging things. You're not, one is not winning and the other one is not losing. If one is winning, the other is losing.
So then you're having a true meeting of the minds.
Correct. And so so both of you gladly exchange, because both of you are two whole, competent people. Neither one of you are missing anything. You're just exchanging what you both have. That's why we said, as much as you want to sell, there's a corresponding opposite. Somebody wants to buy. That person coming to the car lot wouldn't be there if they didn't need or want the car, let's say. You wouldn't be working there if you didn't need or want to sell cars, let's say. So you're both still in the same thing. Nobody's above each other. Nobody's below one another. You're both two whole, complete, competent awarenesses exchanging what you have. Much easier. I want to sell, you want to buy. But when I wake up and I have need, now when I meet you, I'm selling to you with need. And you interpret that as needy, and it's off-putting. It's uncomfortable. And it makes people put their hands out. It makes people clutch what they have because they're perceiving your neediness. So when you go out into the world and you rely on other people to fill the holes in you, people perceive that as neediness. It doesn't matter whether you're selling cars. It doesn't matter whether it's in a relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. When you rely on things outside of you to give you what you are supposed to give yourself, you're always going to be, you're already aware of lack. You're already aware of lacking, and you're going out into the world with that awareness. And so people perceive it. Intuitively, instinctively, they perceive it. Sometimes consciously and explicitly, but most oftentimes people feel it, like that vibe was off. That person just felt like weird. It just, that's why we talk about what we talk about. So that way you don't wake up and go out in the world missing something. Because missing means now you don't have, which means now you're in a state of chasing. So now you're chasing the person off the parking lot. Now you got to call them 100 times. Now you got to do this and do that. You're constantly chasing because you're trying to get what you don't have. But once you give it to yourself, once you tell yourself, oh, I'm the person who has this. Oh yeah, I have my rent money. I always pay my rent on time. Or I always have more than enough. Or whatever else it is. Now you are, it's almost like you've eaten. Now you're satisfied. You know, you almost have the spiritual itis, where you're like, you're almost indifferent. You're like, man, you know, I can or I can't, ain't no big deal to me. I'm already satisfied. I remember one of my close friends, he grew up in Inglewood, and he made it to the NBA. And we were walking through the mall one day, and he said, you know, it's funny, when I was young, I could walk through this mall, I couldn't afford anything. And I couldn't buy anything. And he said, now that I'm rich, I can walk through this mall and I don't have to buy anything. Everybody will give me anything. I walk in here and they'll give me the shirt. They'll give me the shoes. They'll just say, can I take a picture with you? Or, will you just advertise this for me? I don't have to buy anything. Before I couldn't buy anything and didn't have anything. Now I have all the money. I can buy anything in this mall. And I don't have to buy anything. Everything's given to me. That's what the book is talking about. To him who has, even what he has, more will be given. To him who hasn't, to him who has not, even what you have will be taken. Because you're always in a state. And if you're in a state of lack, even what you have will be taken, because that's how you're operating. You're operating in the awareness of I don't have. So your awareness is constantly taking things from you as an expression of I don't have. When you're aware of having, when you're saying, all my needs are met, every day my wealth increases, every day my business booms, every day this is the way it is for me. When you are cultivating, when you are doctoring that awareness, when you're teaching that awareness, when you are aware of being that, when you're aware of being love itself, I am is love. So then why would you be looking for it outside of yourself with someone else? Now you're empty of the thing that you're trying to get somebody else to give you, and now you're needy. It's off-putting to people. And now you've assigned them the task of filling the gap, the hole of love within you. So every day they can't even love you. They're at work. It's a job to them. They don't even get to enjoy it. They're at work to love you. They're with you to love you. It's a job to them. It's not even something that they can just express as a result of who you are, of how much they like you, of how wonderful you are. But you don't think you're that wonderful. So you don't love yourself like that. So now somebody else has to do it. You're looking for somebody else to do it. What you are devoid of within yourself, not being aware of having or being, you're going to automatically seek it outside because you don't want to go without it. And so now you're seeking something or someone outside to fill it. But every day to them it's a job now. Because if they don't feel it, it's not filled. And now they got to deal with somebody unfulfilled. Nobody wants to do that. It's just not a sustainable model, right? So that's why we talk about what we talk about. We talk about you, the self of you. Like Suzanne's talking about the root. Who are you? Are you successful? Are you happy? Are you healthy? That's no one's job but your own. Not in truth. Not in truth, not in a sustainable, the truth sets you free. Only you can do that. The truth is only you can love yourself the way that you need to be loved in order to be completely fulfilled. That only comes from I am. I am is love. So if you don't love yourself, everybody else is a distant second. They can do the best they can, but it's not sustainable. They got to sleep like you, eat like you. If you are not success itself, there is no one to make up that difference for you. I am, and there is no other. You are success itself. You are the business itself. You are those things. As far as you are the one that's making that is having that experience as yourself, as you are. And if you're the 2-year-old walking into the house, you don't have much to offer to the house or to anyone in it. And that's why every Saturday we come here to get you to go from 2 to 5, 5 to 8, 8 to, and eventually into adulthood, into the maturity that allows you to run your house, to decorate your house, to be able to operate all the functions that you have within you. If you know who you are, why wouldn't you love yourself? And if you know who you are and you know that your I am and I am is right now, why wouldn't you love yourself right now? And if you know that your I am and you're omnipresent, then and your love and you're omnipresent, that means everywhere you go, you're loved. And if everywhere you go, you're loved, then that means everywhere you go, you are loved. But it's hard to believe those things if you don't know yourself. Like Suzanne said, if you're not starting at the root, like Veronica said, if you're not starting with the psychology, if you're not starting with self-awareness, the awareness of who you are, everything else becomes, like Suzanne said, complicated. It starts to feel weird and strange, and it starts to feel like something you can't really quite grasp. And everybody's reaching for and chasing and trying to find and hustle and grind to figure out. But that's just one concept. That's just business. Health is the same way. Money is the same way. Relationships are the same way. That's why we teach you the way we do here, because it's not for one area. It's understanding that the only area that matters is you. And once you have that down and consistently are mastering it, meaning just consistently being aware of who you are, you apply that awareness to every area of your life. And that area of your life lights up according to you, to your awareness of self. That's how strong that is. That's how good it is. That's how bad it is. That's how dark it is. It's all just a reflection of your awareness of self. That is what you are stepping into the state animating, with that degree of intensity or lack thereof, that degree of skill or lack thereof, that degree of awareness or lack thereof. These things that you're chasing don't have life in and of themselves. You are the life that steps in and animates it according to the life you are. How strong are you? How weak are you? Whatever you are, that is the extent, that is the brightness, that is the level of animation that state of business, health, wealth, relationship, success, whatever, all those states are animated according to you. You are the only living thing. Those things are just states, they're not alive. You give them life, so they look like you. That's why we do this every week, right? Okay, will you go to the slide, please, so I can show you? Okay, so here we go. right? What does it say in bold right there? What does it say? Right there in bold. What does that say?
The beginning.
That's what we're talking about today. The beginning. I want you to understand the beginning. Once you understand the beginning, everything else is doable. If you're just if it's the beginning, it can't be good or bad, right or wrong, can't be messed up. It's just the beginning. Right? The beginning. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, consciousness. In the beginning, the non-physical. In the beginning, the source, the consciousness, the non-physical. In the beginning. So before anything else that you're talking about, thinking about, doing, wanting, being, having, in the beginning is your awareness, is your consciousness. In your beginning is the Suzanne, essentially. In the beginning is the root. You are the root. Everything that you look up at that you call a tree and branches and leaves, that's not the beginning. That's not the beginning. In the beginning, in the root, the beginning is I am. Your consciousness is the beginning of your life overall, of the life you live, and of every aspect of life that you live. Your consciousness is the beginning. It is the thing that started this whole thing off. It's the thing that started your business. It's the thing that's dictating your business. It's the thing that is maintaining your in the beginning. It's the thing that created Suzanne, that's maintaining Suzanne. I am. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, consciousness. In the beginning, awareness. In the beginning, source. In the beginning, whatever word you want to use, but a consciousness, especially your mind, your awareness of being, not your brain, your awareness of being, your consciousness. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, I am. That's what you have to understand. Your awareness is the beginning of all things that you see. Those leaves that you see on the tree, the branch you see on the tree, you look up at those things, that's wonderful. But those are just expression of when you look all the way down. And when you look all the way down, you'll see the roots. And you can have those roots without the branches and the leaves. You can't have the leaves and the branches without the root. So everything you're expressing in your life, the branches and leaves are an expression of the root. And like Suzanne said, the tree, and metaphysically, the tree, that's why they talk about trees in the Bible and a lot of books, that represents consciousness. It's your awareness. It's consciousness. In the beginning, consciousness. In the beginning, awareness. In the beginning, awareness created. So if you went all the way down to all these verses, everything that was created by who? By what?
I
By
am.
God. I am.
By God. I am consciousness. Right?
Yes, but one of the first places, like I just have affinity with trees, and I know that. But in the places in the Bible, one of the first ways God showed himself was the burning bush, like through a tree.
Mm-hmm. So the burning bush is attached to the land. The burning bush is talking about the physical. It's talking about a couple different things there. That'll be a whole nother class. But it's showing you how consciousness uses physical things to express itself because you can't see consciousness. So you can only see what it expresses, how it expresses itself. So consciousness, ideas you can't see. So everything you see in your physical world was first an idea. So you can't see an idea, but you can see what it expresses. The physical thing is the reflection of the idea, and the idea is always first. So anytime we want to create an expression, we have to go back. We have to go to the place where that expression is created. We can't express something before it's created. So in order to express something, we have to create it. So anything we want to see in our physical world, we have to go to where that thing is created, manufactured, made. And that is awareness. Awareness is where everything is created. Awareness creates a thing called an idea, a concept of something, called business, called health, called a tree. Everything physical is an expression of consciousness. The heavens and the earth were created by who? I am. The bush, the fire, created by who? I am. So everything that we are seeing is just a resource of the source. Everything that we physically see in our world is just a resource. It is a creation. It's not the creator. It's the created. Once you understand that, all of us, once we understand that fundamentally and foundationally, then we go to the root for everything, because we understand that's where the tree is going to sprout from. It doesn't sprout from the sky. It sprouts from the ground. It starts from the bottom, from the root, from the beginning. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, consciousness created. In the beginning, your awareness creates the heavens and the earth, the physical experiences and expressions that you have. Your awareness does that. In the beginning, your awareness creates your business. Your awareness creates your health. Your awareness creates your relationships. Your awareness does that. Your I amness does that. And all the things that it creates is a physical expression of what it's aware of being in that moment. It's a physical representation of an idea, of a concept, of its concept of itself, and the idea created as a result of the concept of itself. So to Dr. Velvet's point, when you know who you are, you love yourself. Who else would you love? Who else is there to love? You are love itself. So when you are love, and when you know that you're loved, then you create things out of that concept of love. So out of that concept of love, it would be beautiful. It would be wonderful. It'd be perfect. It'd be everything that love represents and reflects. It's always, we're always talking about the beginning. All of us have been taught and trained to look at the leaves and the branches. Those things don't exist without the root, and the root can exist without those things. So once we go to the root, once we understand the beginning, then from there you can create anything you want. That's the whole point of coming here, is to understand who you are as the root, as the beginning, as the creator of all things. In the beginning, you were before anything that you created. So everything that you create is just an expression of yourself. You don't need it to be you, but you use it as an expression of yourself. Oh, I want to have this, so I'm going to express myself this way. But I don't need to do this to be me. I'm already me. Otherwise, you couldn't create these things. So your creations you don't need. They're just expressions of you, and of who you're being. And so you get to choose who you're being, and you choose your resources to express yourself. Once you understand that all creation comes from you, then you understand that whoever you are is what you're creating. Then you understand, well, shoot, I can predict my future by just knowing who I am. Because from there, I create. Everybody wants steps. Everybody wants action steps. Well, what do I do now? Well, in the beginning, I am created the heavens and the earth. So God doesn't have a problem doing. We get that confused. But humanity wants to do things all the time, but it never starts in the beginning. It never starts in the beginning. It always starts with something else. 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Humanity is always jumping the gun. It's always trying to do something because that's the only way it justifies itself, is through doing. But I am in the beginning is I am, and the beginning is not physical. Everything you see physically is not the beginning, it's the end. So once you understand that, then you realize, shoot, I can create anything then. You can create any physical experience you want. You're the only creator. There is no other. So there is no one stopping you. That's just what you tell yourself. There is no one who doesn't want to listen to you. That's just what you tell yourself. Because you could tell yourself something different, and they would. And they will, in your reality, in your experience. All of us are having our own individualized, customized experiences. Just like all of us are at Disneyland. We're all in one place, but everybody's not having the same time. We're having our own individualized time. Some of us went to the bathroom. Some of us eating ice cream. Some of us on a roller coaster. Some of us are in line. Some of us are taking pictures with Mickey Mouse. We're all in the same place, but we're all doing something different. Why? Because we're all having our own customized experiences, even though we're all in Disneyland, even though we're all in this world. Physically. We're still I am individually. having our own customized experience. So there is no world that people don't listen to you if that's what you don't, if that's not what you believe. But there is no world that is different than what you believe. There is no other way to see it or experience it. There is no other way. So that's why we keep going it over and over and over every week, over and over and over and over, because that's what it takes for us to get it a lot of times. That's why we believe the things we do believe. We've been conditioned over time to believe life is hard, it takes 2 to 5 years, most businesses fail, most this, most that. Yeah, but there's a reason why most businesses fail. Businesses don't fail. Businesses, we saw our state. That book's not religious. That's an etymology dictionary. It's not a religious book, right? That's just a dictionary. But it's telling you that business is a state. So how do businesses fail? They're states, they're not living things. The people in them fail, but you only fail when you don't know who you are. It's the only possible way. When you know who you are, I am doesn't fail. How does I am fail? And it's omniscient, it has all the answers. It knows everything. It's omnipotent, it can do everything. How does it fail? Only when we separate ourselves from our awareness of being, from our true identity, and start believing we're something else because of what somebody else tells us. We start entertaining it, and then we start physically creating the idea we're entertaining. Everything that's created was first an idea. We start entertaining ideas, entertaining the idea of different concepts of ourselves. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm ADD. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Okay. Nothing wrong with it. That's what you want to do. That's not a problem. There's no judgment. It doesn't affect me. But just understand how things come. It's the acceptance of things we start believing to be true. That's the only way. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So the heavens and the earth were created by God. So the heavens and the earth come from God. So then they can't be any different than what God was being when it created it. So that means, and we are made in the image and likeness of that, which means the image and likeness is not the body, because otherwise we'd all look the same. So the image and likeness is what God actually is consciousness. So it means whatever we're thinking is the same heaven and earth that we're creating. That's the same physical experiences that we're having. The nervous system was created, it's part of heaven and earth, it's part of the body. It doesn't have any control over anything except what you give it. You're the creator of it. It's not independent of you, it's interdependent on you. And it is being governed just like the genes of your body, like the heartbeat of your body, it's being governed by consciousness. How can it rule you and it's not self-created? It's just something you're using to express yourself, just like when you move your hand up and down. Like when your heart beats, those things are governed by consciousness. What people will call the subconscious mind, but it's just the part of the mind you don't see. It's part of the glacier you don't see. It's still still part of the glacier you do see. They just have different roles. Your conscious mind and subconscious mind are still one mind. They just have different roles. Male, female, still humanity. Just different expressions of it. Still humanity. Right? So you never get power to anything that you created. You are the power. You don't ever get power to the resource. You are the source. You existed before it. It does not exist without you in creation or maintenance. If God decides to pack it up, sun is gone, moon is gone, everything is gone. God don't have a problem with it. What does it say? The earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface. God don't need the light to be God, but God can create the light because God is God. You don't need anything that you've created. You existed before it. So then you get to say, let there be light as a pleasurable expression of self. You get to be successful. You get to be successful because that's pleasant to you. You get to be a parent because that's pleasant to you. You get to be rich because that's pleasant to you. None of those things justify you or make you. And you don't have to earn. Why do you have to earn something you already created? You're the owner, not the earner. You say, let there be. That's the image and likeness. Let there be wealth. Let there be success. Let there be light. Let there be health. Let there be this. Let there be that. That's the image and likeness. The ability to declare and decree and it come to pass. See how there's no one else on here that's creating? And there's no one else saying, hold on, wait a minute. Well, let's vote on it. Well, let's pass a referendum. Well, no, it's the same thing. We're made in the image and likeness. We are creating our experience with this. We have the same ability to create our experience without anyone else's, doesn't matter what they say or think. But you have to do that as I am within you. You decide the end. What do you want to see, be, do, or have? You have to be willing to say, let there be. But most oftentimes we don't, because we start bringing in other people, but there is no other. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Was anybody else? Was there any? God created the heavens and the earth. There's no we. There's no they. There's no, the heavens and the earth misunderstood me. They're judging me. They don't want to rock with me. They don't like me. There's haters out here. That's not in there. That's just humanity's fairy tales, humanity's stories that we tell ourselves. We start accepting and believing, and we start creating these experiences because God is the only creator. And we use consciousness to create in physical form. Consciousness creates ideas. Ideas become physical things. So which ideas are we entertaining with our consciousness? Who are we being that we choose that idea to entertain and bring into physical expression, which people call manifesting? Who are we being that would entertain that idea to create that experience? Who are we being? Well, we're being the one that can be hated on. We're the one that is COVID. We're the one that is flu season. We're the one. So we're entertaining things, and according to your faith, be it unto you. That's why it's according to your faith, not their faith, not we faith. There is no plural. So talking about anyone else is just a waste of your time. That's not the law. That's not the truth. That's what you believe to be true. That's the experience you're truly having, but it's not the truth. That's why I don't like it, because you're not free. But we can't be free with a lie. Only the truth sets us that way, keeps us that way. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, consciousness. Consciousness is the only creator of all physical experience, period. It's the only one. Your consciousness is the only creator of your experiences, period. Once you understand that, then you'll pay attention to what you're conscious of being, what you're telling yourself, what you're believing, what you're allowing, what you're accepting, what you're assuming to be true. All those are based on who you think you are. That's why we start here in the beginning, over and over every week, because once you get this, you can do whatever you want. Why sit there and talk about this or that if you don't know who you are? All you're going to do is chase it. Well, if I tell you who you are every week, you'll start to believe it more and more, and you'll start taking control over those things and realizing, I don't have to chase that. I already have that. I already have that. That's already mine. I've already created that in the beginning. You created in the beginning. You didn't even get out of the first sentence before you created. So, and creation's finished. So now all you're doing is creating your experience by choosing from all that already exists. And you choose from all that already exists based on who you think you're being. You are choosing based on who you are. We all can go to the ice cream store. All of us are not going to walk out with the same ice cream because we're all different people. We're all different characters. We're all playing different roles. So we all like different things to express the differences. But so we are creating by choosing from all that already exists. And you choose first based on who you're being. So the world can't hurt you or help you. It's only here as a playground for you to express yourself. And everything has already been placed in this world for you to have it. But you're choosing what you have or don't based on first who you think you are. That's why we hammer this every week. Who are you? Who are you? Who do you think you are? Is that really who you think you are? Is that the truth? Not true meaning you're experiencing it or you've always been this way. Is that the truth that sets you free? Is that the truth where you're obeying the law? No justice, no peace. Even I am he. But if you don't believe that, you'll die in your sins. You will remain as you are. Your awareness is that thing. I am that I am. Your awareness is that thing that you're looking for out there. Your awareness is the way, the truth, and the life. It's the way for you to have your money. It's the way for you to experience the physical things you want to experience by identifying yourself as the person who is that, who has that, who does that. That's why we go over this over and over and over and over. Because all the other stuff doesn't matter. We could talk about 1,000 things. They don't matter. Once you get this, once you apply, once you understand this, the other stuff doesn't matter because you're in control now. The heavens and the earth don't matter. I am in the beginning. So they don't matter. What could they matter if I am before it? What does anything after it matter to me? They're only expressions of me. So I could have them or not. I still am. It's the same thing. That's why I go over it and over it and over and over so that you get it. From there, once you get who you are, then you create your heaven and earth. You create your next experiences by choosing who am I now? Who do I want to be? What experience do I want to have? And realizing you've been doing this forever. This is who you are. This is the image and likeness that you're made in. The ability to think. All right. Before we move on, what do we have to say?
I was gonna just kind of chime in, Coach, how relatable everything is that you're saying. It's just all centered around accountability. When I'm thinking about my experience, I have signed up for all of this. I have taken so much accountability recently, as far as, like you said, you look around and you understand that you created what is around you. You created that. It's just baffling. It continues to baffle my mind that I literally chose all of this, that I chose what I chose. The accountability is just like right in my face. And so I have, as you were speaking, I was thinking, I'm thinking that the more I isolate myself, the more that I recluse, the better. That's what I'm telling myself. That's what I've been telling myself. I've just been like, okay with self, getting to know self even more, and just loving on self, spending time with self, and using that example for sharing that example with other women, in hopes that they do the same, to just spend more time with themselves so that you understand you even better. And how things look to others is just less and less important to me. What it means to get to know yourself. You look crazy to society. You look crazy, but it's the best thing you can ever do is just spend time with you and love on you. And that's kind of like what I'm hearing as you're speaking. It's just kind of being reiterated that I've always been the answer. So there's no need for validation. There's no need for, it's just a lot of things I was taught as a kid. It was crazy. And unlearning it is the best thing I could have ever done for myself. So it's just crazy. I'm baffled.
Mm-hmm. So let me say a couple of things. You brought up a couple of things I want to make sure are clear with people. Number one, as you start to remember who you are, right? As you start to remember who you are, the best thing about that is, as you start to remember who you are, you'll be better to the world, and the world will be better to you. Right? We don't have to sit on a mountain, be some kind of recluse. We don't have to sit around and hide from people and hide from things. But in the state of mind that a lot of us are in, oftentimes we'd be better off because we're just out here insane. And we're out here thinking, not understanding how things work. And so we're just basically like a 2-year-old with a book of matches, and we just keep going like this and just keep burning ourselves up, right? Just because we're efforting, we're trying, we're ambitious, we're working hard, but we don't understand how this law of fire works. We don't understand how the laws of mind work, how consciousness works, who we are. So we're just out here killing ourselves. But the more you remember who you are, that you are all there is, you are all that is, you are I am, and there is no other, the better you will be to your world, and the better the world will be to you, because you'll remember who you are. So you'll, just like as we mature, the better we are to our house, right? We clean up after ourselves. We pick up after ourselves. We clean the house. We do whatever. A 2-year-old doesn't do that. They just live and eat and go to the bathroom and roll around and watch TV, right? They don't have those same level of awareness and faculties that they're using, right? So as we mature in our awareness of self, the better the world will be to you, and the better you'll be to the world. Number one. Number two, when we are creating and choosing all these different things, what would Jesus be if everybody had their stuff together? What would that? Jesus would have meant what? If they had a liquor store, we don't need to wait for Jesus to turn water into wine. We already went to the store. I ain't waiting for that dude. Go around the corner, go get that drink. I don't need to wait for Jesus, right? If the paralyzed man was never paralyzed, what is Jesus going to do? So, but what did he say? I came to be about my Father's business. So I'm saying all that to say this, that when we are saying that we are the creator of our reality, creator of all of our choices and everything like that, he said, I came to be about my Father's business. Well, the Father's business was to show was to show I am in flesh, the word made flesh. This is how you get off in physical form, right? So, but you couldn't show that if there's nothing to show. So why do you think the paralyzed man was there? Why do you think they ran out of wine? Why do you think certain things happen? Those things start to happen because it's not because it's not because you're always the problem creator. It's also because you're the problem solver. As you continue to realize and recognize who you are and remember who you are, you're going to start to see that a lot of the situations you're in are not because you caused the problem, so to speak, it's because you're the solution to it. You are the Christ that shows up and heals the paralyzed man. You're the Christ that shows up and wakes the girl that was dead. You're the Christ that shows up and makes sure 5,000 people eat with a couple of fish and some bread. You're the Christ that walks on the waters that people can see that you're far more than what you think. You're the Christ that turns up and turns the water into wine. You're the Christ. You are the salvation. You are the solution. You start to show up in things and you get to express yourself as a different thing. You're not the creator of the problem like you're a problem creator. You start to realize that you're the solution to a lot of the problems that you see in the world or in your environment. You're the Christ in your environment as you continue to rise, meaning to remember who you are. So when we say we're the creator of our reality, we're not talking about just bad stuff. We're not just talking about, oh, if you stubbed your toe, you created that. Yeah, well, you also created winning the lottery. You also created the job you got. You create everything, right? But the point also is that a lot of circumstances that we're in are not because because it's a problem to us. It's because we are the solution to the problem. We are the candle that lights up the whole house, the house on the hill that cannot be hid. We are the salt of the earth. You're the example. That's what Christ came to be, the example of how to get off in physical form, of what the word made flesh look, how God operates in physical form. How your awareness, when you know who you are, that's why he always said, I and my Father are one. He was constantly reaffirming that my physical expression and my awareness of being are one. My physical expression is the expression of my awareness of being. So you can't have a different physical life than you're aware of being. You can have a different physical life than the self of you, who you're being. And who you're being is what you're conscious of. Who am I? What am I? What am I telling myself is true? Right? So when we say we're the creator of our reality of this physical experience, it's not all bad. It's not always bad. We take it that way. We assume, oh man, I did that to myself. I fired myself. I slapped myself. I did this. I did that. No, you did all of it. But all of it isn't what the brain will tell you is bad. Some situations are because you are the candle. You are the example. You are the salt of the earth. You are the Christ. You are the salvation, the solution to this situation. People were happy to see him. That paralyzed man was happy to see him. People at the festival, at the wedding, they were happy to get that wine, right? People will be happy to see you when you show up. They'll call you and say, hey, Ingo, what do you think about this? Hey, Velvet, what do you think about this? Hey, Alexis, what do you think about this? Because they understand that same mind is in Christ is also in you. People will start to say, wow, that was such good advice. That was such wisdom. That was such wow. Wow, where did you? Yeah, you get to be the example. But you can't be an example if there's no problem. You can't be a solution when there's no challenge. So a lot of it is you show up on the scene and you get to be her. You get to be him. You get to be that thing that people can say, wow, how did you do that? And that alerts them to, you're like, yeah, well, you could do it too. But they may not have believed either one of those, that you could do it or they could do it before you did it. So a lot of that, when we say we're the creator of our reality, it's not all about bad news. It's not about blame and guilt and shame and look what I did to myself and I punished myself. I'm not saying that's what you were saying. But a lot of times when we hear that, the first thing we think is the negative. Oh man, look what I did to myself. No, it's an opportunity. What we're really talking about is the opportunity. You are the creator of your experience. It's an opportunity. Take it. Start declaring and decreeing your desired end for any and everything. Tell yourself your house sold so fast, it almost felt like you got robbed, right? Just the funny ways and things you tell, but how effortless and easy it is. How when people ask for your advice, you always know what to say, right? How whatever that you tell yourself what you want your experience to be. Do it on purpose. Like Latoya always says, living on purpose. We're all alive, but most of us don't live on purpose. And if you don't live on purpose, you're not living with any purpose. Why you think life and things feel purposeless or meaningless? You're not living with any purpose or meaning. So what should stuff mean? Or what should the purpose be? If you're not, it's always you first. In the beginning, before anything, in the beginning, you are. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, consciousness is. And in that beginning, the consciousness that's in the beginning creates everything, creates the leaves that you're looking at, the branches that produce that, and the root. Start at the root. Start with number one. That's you. And you, knowing who you are, walks into a state called business. So if that business failed, I tell people all the time, most people don't have a professional problem. They have a personal problem that they bring into their profession. Most people don't actually have business problems. They have personal problems that they bring into their business. Those habits you have, all the things that you think about yourself, the way you deal with life, you bring that into your house, into your business. You being late, oh, I have a bad memory. How's that going to work for your business? I'm not good with names. How's that going to work for your business? All I know is faces. How are you going to do that if you're talking on the phone and you don't see somebody's face? Oh, well, I'm an introvert. Okay, how's that going to work for your business? Well, I'm a this or I'm a that. All the stupid stuff you say, it's just so stupid. And you wonder why nothing comes good out of it. All the stuff you apply all this stuff to your business and you wonder why your stuff is some trash or why it's hard. But no one tells you, no one deals with you first. You can't be something you don't want to be and it work out in something you want it to work for. Oh, I have low self-esteem. How's that going to work as an entrepreneur? I'm misunderstood. How's that going to work as an entrepreneur? Well, people always hating on me. How's that going to work as an entrepreneur? All the stuff you say in your personal life, you think it just ends there. No, it's you say it because you believe in that to be true. And that belief goes with you everywhere. It goes into your business too. Because that's who you're being. Your business is just a house. It's not a separate entity. It looks like you. It's decorated like you. It's having the experience of you. So when you got low self-esteem or you got this or you got that or you have this or you have that, all the things that you identify yourself with and as, that comes into your business too. That comes into your relationships too. That comes into your money. It comes into every area of your life. I am is omnipresent. It's everywhere. So when you identify yourself as I'm stupid, that's everywhere. I have low self-esteem, that's everywhere. Like it permeates every aspect of your experience because you're in every aspect of your experience. Every experience is you. Again, that's why I harp on it over and over and over and over. I could talk to you about 1,000 things. I could tell you all kinds of things about health, history, law. I could tell you all kinds of stuff you wouldn't even believe. But what's that going to do? That's not going to put no money in your pocket. That's not going to make your relationship better. It's not going to put no money in your account. That's not going to make your business pop the way you. So I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to remind you of who you are so that you can entertain yourself. And you can laugh as long as you want, as hard as you want, about whatever you want. And nothing and no one can stop you. That's what I want for you. Whatever you want for yourself. But that'll never happen if you don't know yourself. You're always fighting an uphill battle. It's always a Sisyphean experience. You roll the boulder up the hill and it comes right back down the next day. You on fire on Sunday and by Tuesday, it looks like the flood came through. Noah's Ark in here. Right? You can't do that, but that's what happens when we don't know who we are. Right? So that is why we talk about these things. We don't have a lot of the things that you're having a hard time with aren't business things, they're personal things. Concepts of yourself, beliefs, things that you allow, that you've accepted, that you're saying is true about yourself, is the self of you that's, remember, the business is just a house. It doesn't decorate itself. So when you walk in as low self-esteem or I'm stupid or I'm not smart or I have to hear it 15 times for me to get it or I'm not this or I'm not that. Well, you're the 2-year-old walking into your house. What do you think this experience is going to be like? What's that house going to do for you? The refrigerator doesn't open itself. The lights don't cut themselves on. If you're 2, you can't do either one of them. So now you're in somewhere that you should be able to have an experience that you can't because you're not mature enough, you're not aware enough to have that experience. So this is just about constantly remembering who we are, which matures us. So that when you walk into your house, you walk into your business, you walk into your relationship, when you walk into those states that you're experiencing, you walk into it as a mature person. As someone that can open the refrigerator, turn the lights on, that can paint, or that can do whatever it wants in this state to make this state appealing to them. Called business, called health, called money, called relationships, called all of these things. All right. I'll pause it there. What do we got?
So that was really, really good. One of the things that echoed to me was something I've been thinking about, which is it's when you're talking about the house is all or nothing, which means either it's not just a house of health, it's not just a house of finances, it's a house of everything. So it either I am is all or I am is nothing. Because we say it with the word, I am the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is I am. So either I'm all those things, and God's not going to be like, oh, I can't go into the bedroom of debt right now because you want me to stay in the bedroom of finances. Of health. No, he wants it all. So it either has to be all or nothing. And I love that because that was something I had to make a decision on. Either I am all of it or I am none of it. And I decided that it had to be all. I can't live outside of that all. And the other thing was that when you mentioned, being not only the thing, like yesterday was, I knew when we got the deal that we got, I was the supply and the supplier. It wasn't, that's why we were able to meet when he gave me the deal, because I didn't have anything but being supplied on my mind. And I knew I could be the supplier. And I solved his problem, he solved my problem. And it was nothing missing, nothing broken. I never had to sacrifice, I never had to give up, I never had to rob Peter to pay Paul, like you said. It was all or nothing.
What does the book say? See, here's the thing. Like you said a couple weeks ago, a week ago, you said there's the brain consciousness and there's the I am consciousness, and they're two experiences until you learn how to train them as one. Really. So, because your brain, until it's trained properly, would think something that your awareness would never think naturally. So, here's the thing. You're either I am or I am not. What does the book say, right? A double-minded mind mind is unstable in all its ways. Let it not think it'll receive anything, right? Well, now, if you tell the brain that, the brain, humanity will say, well, everything is not black and white. There's a gray area. Well, I am says you either are or you're not. Humanity tells you that there's a gray area. So which one of those are you going to pick? Right? We have to pick. You either are I am or you're not. You're either all in or you're not. If you want to put your toe in the water, that's not swimming. If you want to sit outside the pool, that's cool. That ain't swimming. You putting your outfit on, that ain't swimming. You're either in the pool or you're not. You're this like vagueness or this gray area, these little creature comforts of what we tell ourselves because we're not really committed, because we're not really sure if we're going to get it, or if this thing called faith works, or if manifesting works. You're either all in or you're not. It's not like all in, like you got to be all in for me, or you got to be all in for somebody else. It's not like something you have to prove to other people. It's not some kind of membership that you have to earn. You're either all in or you're not, with yourself, as yourself. I am or I am not. There is no middle ground with I am, with your consciousness. Anybody ever seen a middle ground in there? I am, well, I'm not. Well, what's I am? Yeah. Well, I am not. Well, why not? Well, what's today? What does that mean? Either I am or I am not. I can read, can you? Well, what's today? You can either read or you can't. What does Tuesday got to do with it? There's no, humanity will tell you there's vagueness, ambiguity, there's a gray area. Well, everything is not what it, no, listen, That's what your brain will tell you. But that's the same brain that'll get you in some trouble that it can't get you out of. And have you sacrificing instead of just being obedient? Choosing your desired end, that's obedience. What do I want? I want to be this, do this, have this. Okay, I'm now that. I'm the person who has that. That's obedience. If you don't, you'll want it and you'll chase it, but you'll sacrifice to get it. And that's if you get it. You'll sacrifice whatever it was to get it. Your health, your money, your time, your relationships, whatever it is. You'll sacrifice because you're the person who doesn't have it. You're the person that's needy trying to sell something to somebody. And they know all you're doing is trying to meet your need, not theirs. So they don't want to do that. They don't want to pay for you to meet your need. You meet your own need. So you either are or you're not. You're all in or you're not. You're not all into the world. You're not all into everybody else. Nobody else gets to judge you, grade you, tell you that nobody else gets to do that. This is all in for you, about you. I am the I am that I am. I am the I am. That is me. I'm all into that. That's what it is. There is no time I'm not. There's no situation I'm not. There's no place I'm not. There's no day I'm not. I either am or I'm not. If there's a third leg, I'm not. There is no third leg. That's an illusion. There is no gray area. I am or I'm not. Double-minded gets nothing.
And it's I am on all things.
On all things. Total congruence. I am. Period. Because that's if you're all in, what else you gonna show up as? If you show up as something different in your finances, like you said, show up something different in your health, then you're not. And you're going to be treated as such. You're doing this, only God can judge you. That's correct. Only I am can judge you, meaning it is sentencing you, meaning it is giving you the outcome of your behavior, of who you're believing yourself to be. It's sentencing you. Here you go. You did this, here's your sentence. Here's your outcome. The judge didn't make you do it. The court didn't make you do it. So, but this is where you're going to get the outcome of what you did or didn't do. So the thing that's judging you is not the one. The thing that's judging you is not the one that made you do it.
Nope. And
right?
I think it comes clear to that scripture where in Revelations he said, "I wish you were either hot or cold, because if you were lukewarm, I'll just spit you out my mouth."
You get nothing. But humanity will tell you there's a gray area. Humanity will tell you it's a gray area. So which one is it? Right? We have to make a choice. That's to your point. We either believe this or we believe that. You can't believe both. You can't believe both. It's not possible. So you're either in as hot or cold, or you're out because you're lukewarm. You're nothing. Like they said on The Wire, you're a 50, 60 degree day. You're not memorable. Nobody remembers you. You're not hot enough to be remembered or cold enough to be remembered. You're just mid. You're just mild. And that's what most people are who don't know who they are. They're just mid and just mild. Nobody will ever know you lived. You didn't do anything. So this is an all-in thing. It's not, this is not an association. This is not, you're not passing anything out. It's not for, all in means all in within yourself, not all in to someone else. This is not, you don't have to pass a test here. You don't have to pass a test in the world. Nobody gets to tell you anything. You decide I'm all in or I'm not. But understand those are the only two options. There is no middle. That's just humanity and the brain deceiving you. Well, it doesn't really have to be. Yeah, that's the only way it is. Before God said, let there be light, it was dark. There was no dusk. There was no dawn. It was dark or it's light. And until I am said, let there be light, it's dark. Anybody see a gray area? Before there was humanity, was there humanity? No. Anybody see a gray area? That gray area stuff will get you messed up. You're either committed to being who you said or you're not. You're either I am all day, I am only, I am always, or you're not. But thinking you can go in and out like it's hopscotch, back and forth, you're only deceiving yourself. And self-deception is the coldest thing. Like Suzanne was saying earlier, whatever. The self of you is the coldest thing. If you don't have self-respect, self-awareness, self-discipline, if you don't have that, if that's not your root, the self is your root. If you don't have that, there ain't no trees coming. There's no branches coming. There's no leaves coming. Not without the root. If you don't know who you are, there's nothing else coming. But nothing. That's what you have to understand. That's what we have to understand and remind ourselves. Stop thinking that there's an alternative, that there's another way. I am, and there is no other. I am is the only one that created the heavens and the earth. You're made in the image and likeness. You're the only one creating your experiences. As I am, as consciousness, whatever you believe yourself to be. You're creating the physical expression of that by the choice of consciousness. So it says, if I be lifted up, I draw all men unto me. All your physical experiences are drawn unto you. You're not making those happen. You're making those happen by choosing your identity. And that identity draws all things like it, physical and form. So the world is your mirror. I be drawn unto me. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. Drawn unto you, added. You're not physically doing anything. What you think you're doing physically is nothing but physically expressing what you're already aware of being. You're not changing anything. You're not creating anything. All you're doing is expressing the creator, what you're aware of being in mind, in consciousness. So when you think you're out there doing, you're not. You don't know what doing is. Doing is being, because it's the being that's doing the doing. It's not me that does the work. It's my Father in me. It's not Veronica doing the work. It's the awareness that Veronica is holding of herself, that she then, because it becomes an idea, so to speak. So now she's using her body to execute the idea that she has of this thing or of this self, of the awareness of who I am. That's all we use our bodies to execute physically what we're aware of being non-physically, in mind, in consciousness. So you're not doing anything physically except executing who you're being. So when you run around looking for action steps and what am I going to do next? Yeah, but I can't do this. I can't sit around and ask God. God didn't sit around. Otherwise, does it look like God has a problem doing something? There's a heaven and an earth, right? Still working, right? Sun's working, moon's working, stars working. Hell, they work better than anything that any human has put up. Ain't none of that stuff lasted as long as the sun and the moon. So then God doesn't have a doing problem. So it's not to sit around on the couch and just sit there and look up at the sky. That's not what it's saying. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you're not physically doing anything that you're not already aware of being. And there's nothing that you're going to physically do with that body that's going to be different than what you're aware of being. That would be against the law of consciousness, and you don't break that law. You can break humanity's laws because they're not laws, they're rules. But you're not breaking gravity. You're not breaking thermodynamics. You're not breaking all the other ones. Those are not breakable. There's no loopholes in that. All right, what else we got? Because I want to make sure we're understanding so we can apply.
This is great, Coach. This is great. So I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page.
Okay, because this is we're here to be doers, not hearers. We hear so that we can do, but I want to make sure everybody's understanding enough so that they can go out and do. Like I said, this is not to prove anything to anyone. There's no sign-up sheet. It's not about this group. It's not about anything but you, anything in the outside world but you. So I want to make sure we're understanding enough so that you will get off this call and be a doer of what you heard, apply, right? To start talking to yourself differently. Start telling yourself the truth of who you are. That being is the doer. Whatever you're being is the doing. Tamika, how did your thing go last weekend?
You know what? It went well. My son, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my son, he started his a clothing brand about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. He's 17. And so I paid for him to do the thing with me. And I had my daughter working with me. And it went amazingly well. Went in there and I'm like, I'm gonna sell out, right? I didn't. However, my son and I and a lady that cooked the food, we were the only 3 tables that had business. And I just, I understand that people, they come to these events and things and they don't, although they want to purchase, they can't right now. And so I've been getting calls and I came to church Tuesday and made 2 sales. So it's like I've been getting calls in business all week, and I actually just got to put my brand out there and I got to talk about something that I genuinely love to do. And I'm usually terrified to get on the stage and talk, but I did. And so it went amazing. So thanks for asking. And I was about to
Describe
put
your,
my okay, go
describe,
ahead.
say it again.
I was about to put my hand up right before you called my name, but I'll answer your question.
All right, go ahead. No, tell me what you want. What's your question? Or what you
Okay, so I'm really, and I think I've said this already, but I just want to make sure I'm clear because and it could just be practice, daily practice and all day, all night practice. But sometimes I'm really good at the I am, right? I'm the creator. What I want, I get. Of course, I know life and death is in the power of the tongue. Um, but sometimes I feel like in um certain situations, I kind of fall back into not woe is me, but it's like not that creator mindset. And so from what I'm hearing, it's just I need to stay speaking to myself, I am, and then just stay kind of moving, I am. It doesn't matter like the the topic or the situation, right? I guess I'm trying to I don't know how to just keep in that I am when it comes to certain things because it almost feel like I'm not, and I know I can't tell myself that, but I don't know. I don't even know if there's a
Okay, no,
question. I'll probably
you
say
hit it.
that.
No, you hit on it perfect. You said when you're in certain situations, right? You
Mm-hmm.
said you when you're in the situation that you're good at, let's say you're being what?
I mean, I am. I'm
I
being a
am.
creative state of mind. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're being I am. When you are in, let's just say the situations you're not good at, let's just say it that way. In that moment, you said you're being.
I'm not. I'm
So
not.
who, in both situations, you're being who?
I don't know the answer. In both situations, I'm
What's
being
the common denominator? What's the common
me.
denominator?
Me.
In the situation you're good at, you are.
I am.
In the situation you're not good at, let's just say, you are what?
I am. Still I am. Still I am. Yeah. Okay.
So then when you say I am not in the situation that you think you're not good at, you're still I am. But you're just using your awareness to not be.
Yeah.
So you are a mother, whether you tell your children yes or no. The yes or no doesn't change your identity. It just changes your experience. But
Yeah.
it doesn't change who you are. So you don't let your experience change who you are. Yes or no, you're still the mom. You don't, well, mom, you told me no, so you ain't my mom. Would that work?
Right. Not at all.
Not at all. So then I am not is not changing who you are. It's just changing your experience because now you're using your awareness to not be. But you need your awareness to be or not be. So you're still I am no matter what. But you're using your awareness to not be. Now, so you're using your awareness to not be because of your experience. But the experience you're having is because you believe in this area that you're not. You're entertaining a different identity that's not even factually possible or true because you got to be I am to not to even be the not.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't be the not without I am. So I am is the common denominator. That's who you really are. The not is the variable that you can apply or not, that you can be or not. But you are I am to be or not to be still requires Tamika. Still. So then there's never a situation that you're not I am. You're just believing yourself to be so that you can not be something. But it still takes you being to not be. So you're never not I am. You're never not the creator. You're just telling yourself you're not so you can play the role of not being, but it's just a
Mm-hmm.
role. It's not the truth. Right? So now the whole thing is to bring yourself back to the truth. See, you know what you said was really good. Let me explain it to you a different way. If you start off with the premise of I am perfect, It says in the book, right? Be you perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, right? Your Father in heaven is your awareness. So be you perfect means just allow the perfection that your awareness in you is, just allow that to be. So you identify yourself as that perfection because I'm just allowing it to be. I don't have to create it. Creation's finished. It says be. So all I have to do is be. Just be. Like you're being Tamika right now. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You're just being. You're alive. You're the awareness of it. So now I'm just going to be perfect. I'm allowing that state of perfection to just live within me. So if you start with that premise of I am perfect, if you had a thought of I'm not good at something, what would you do with that thought? If you're starting with the premise of I am perfect, and then the thought comes to your mind of I am not good at something, what would you do with that thought?
Change it to I am
If
good at it.
if your son asks you, your son and you have kids, when they ask you for something and your answer is no, you can say no 1,000 ways, right? As long as it means no.
Mm-hmm.
So if the premise is I am perfect and a thought comes to your mind that I can't afford it, what do you do?
That's good. Honestly, if the thought comes along of I can afford it or whatever that I can't do, sometimes I start moving as I can't.
Okay, but no, stop, back up. What is the premise? What like Suzanne said, what is the root of the tree? The root of the tree in this example is what?
Is I'm perfect.
So what does perfect mean? What does the word actually mean?
Oh, I don't know, like the actual definition.
It means to do or make whole and complete. That's why you're like, ooh, that's perfect. Because what was done for you in that moment was perfect. Like they washed the car perfectly, or the cake was made perfectly. It was done or made whole, complete. It's lacking nothing. There's nothing about this thing that's lacking. That's perfect. So that means be you perfect. That means be whole and complete, lacking nothing. Complete, full, finished, lacking in no way. It is a compound word, right? It means completely, to do or to make completely. It's a compound word. So my point to you is, if the root of the tree is I am perfect, then every branch and leaf should come out of that root, right?
Right.
So then if you have a thought that comes to your mind that is contrary to the root or the premise, what do you do with it?
I need to bring it back to I am perfect.
Yeah, you just be like, no.
Thought that comes out of my mind, I need to bring it back to the root.
To the root. So if you just bring it back to the root, what happens to that thought?
It falls off, it leaves.
It falls off, it leaves. So if it falls off and it leaves, then what can it do to you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, because I'm not picking it back up. So nothing.
So then if it takes an idea, if it takes consciousness to create heaven and earth, if you're not entertaining the idea or the consciousness or the awareness of being imperfect, then imperfect cannot take root or produce expressions as a result of the root, right?
Yeah, right. It can't touch me.
So it can't touch you. So then what do you care about the thought? You're like, nah, no, I'm good.
Right.
Nah,
Like that's not my
I'm
story.
good.
Yeah.
Not my story. Your son asks you for something, you're like, nah, not today. You're still, then what happens as a result? Nothing. That thing don't happen. You're not like, nah, and then you're not like, man, I sure hope it doesn't happen. Because you're the mom, you're in charge. You're like, nah, right? But see how easy that is when you start with a different premise that I am perfect. It's not about getting anything. It's just about eliminating anything that would stop your natural expression of perfection. Right? Now, here's where I said that, because most of us have been trained and taught to start the opposite way. I'm a sinner. This little light of mine, I ain't got it. Money doesn't grow on trees. I can't afford it. So now what? So now I'm telling you, Tamika, you're a millionaire. Well, how hard is that thought to maintain based on the premise or the root that you currently have? It feels like an uphill battle. You're fighting all the time trying to make this thing be. You're chasing something. Where the other one, all you're doing is saying, nah, because you're starting with the premise of I already am. The other one, you're starting with the premise of I am not. So you're eternally chasing because the premise is eternally not. I am not. So that means I don't have it. I can't afford. All those things are easier to say when you're not. When you're starting with the premise of I am, you don't tolerate I am not because that doesn't go with your original premise, the original root. It doesn't fit. So what premise are you starting from? What premise are we starting from? Like Suzanne said, what is the root of our identity? Who are we waking up as? Who are we starting this day as? As I am not, therefore I'm chasing everything that I'm not because I don't have it? Or I am, and anything that tells me I'm not is a lie, and that's out. It's so much easier to get rid of something than to try to create it. Isn't it like if somebody cleaned up your house top to bottom? I'm talking about like hospital clean, right? Isn't it much easier when your family walks in to just maintain it?
Right.
Well, if you start off clean with the fact that I am perfect, isn't that much easier to maintain? So that any thought that comes to your mind that contradicts the original truth, you just be like, nah, I'm not going to entertain that. And since I don't entertain it, it doesn't stick around. It doesn't stick around. It can't produce any fruit. So I don't even have to worry about the thought because it won't produce anything because I didn't keep it. It didn't get to take root. I didn't entertain it. So for all of us, and the people in the group understand this already, we talked about it, but to reiterate it, which is fine, start with the premise of be you perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. We pray to God because we believe God is perfect. We're made in the image and likeness, but we're not. How does that work? Those are my kids, but they're not. Which one are they? Are they your kids or are they not? Right? Are you perfect or are you not? Are you made in the image and likeness or are you not? Just like Walter said, you either are or you're not. If you are, but you're entertaining you're not, that's what you're going to get. Meaning you're going to feel the way you feel, not because it's bad what you're getting. What really feels bad is that you are actually believing something about your true nature that isn't the truth. That's what actually feels bad. Poverty isn't a bad thing. What's bad about poverty, the expression isn't a bad thing. The identity that produces the expression is a bad thing because you are identifying yourself as something that's not your true identity. It's identity theft. Who's ever thought that was a good thing? Hey, who wants to experience identity theft? I do. Who's going to sign up for that? Nobody. Right? So it's the same thing. What makes us feel bad is not the expression, it's the identity that created that expression. Because from that identity, we entertain an idea about ourselves that was contrary to who we really are. You are perfect, not human ego's perfect. Divinity's identity of I am that I am, and that's all that I am. And that's all I am. That's all there is. That's all that is. I'm all that is. I'm all there is. So there is no other. So any idea that comes contrary to this truth, I will not accept, allow, or assume. I won't even let it, I won't even open the door. Talk to me through the peephole. I'm not even gonna crack the door for you. So when that idea comes up, no, I'm not fighting with it, wrestling with it. I'm just like, nah. I'm just not going to even allow that. Okay, I see it. I'm not even going to allow that in my mind to even, I'm not going to open the door. You ain't going to get a crack of wind in here. No. But when you start with that premise, that identity, you don't have to fight so hard because you're not trying, you already are everything. All you have to do is stop entertaining the things that take you away from the experience. Stop letting your friends talk you into things that your parents told you don't do. Tamika, be back home at 10 o'clock. Don't let your girlfriend have you out there at the carnival talking about, oh, we're at the carnival, they understand, and now you're walking back in at 10:45. Your friend ain't walking in with you, is she?
Right.
Are they ever there? No. You are a parent. You know, you tell your kids something, and then their friends talk them into something else, and then you ask them why they did, and they're like, "Oh, well, my friend said so." That'll set you off even more than what they did, because I told you to be here. What in the hell? Are they feeding you? Are they clothing you? Well, what do you think God is saying to you? I told you that you're perfect, but you walk in here with low self-esteem. I'm just giving examples. Low self-esteem. I can't afford it. I ain't got it. I can't do it. My leg hurt. What? Who in the hell told you that? What did I tell you? I'm the one clothing you, feeding you, creating you for you. Why are you listening to him? Why are you listening to her? Right? Why are you listening to anything that is not what I told you? So you start with the premise of I am perfect, whole and complete, lacking nothing. And like Walter said, that is total congruence. That means in every area of your life, you're I am, which means in every area of your life, you are perfect. You are whole and complete, lacking nothing. That means in your money, in your business, in your health, in your relationships. Yeah. Why would you entertain anything from anyone else who can't clothe you, feed you, save you, heal you, help you? There ain't nobody took up that job but God. God is on, I am, and there is no other. Christ is the only salvation. I mean, that awareness of being is your only salvation. That's why it says, let that mind that's in Christ be also in you. So stop entertaining alternate identities.
Right.
You end up getting nothing. You are only one thing, I am. Even if you want to use it to be I am not. All you're going to be is just the opposite. In the sense, all you're going to do is just take everything from yourself. Okay. But you did that. No one stole it from you. You gave it away. You threw it out. Right? And so understand there's a difference between what we gave away and what we threw out versus someone stole it. If someone stole it, we're in trouble now, then people can steal. But what did Jesus say? No man takes my life from me. If you can't take my life, you sure can't take my blender. You sure can't take my money. You sure can't take my health. If you can't take the most important thing I got, you can't take anything less than that. So you start with the premise of I am perfect. Period. And you stop entertaining anything else. Anything else is not the truth, and you will be enslaved by any lie you entertain.
Yeah.
I don't care why you rationalize it. I don't care why you reason it. I don't care who told you the lie, where you heard it, how long you've had it, how often you've said it. If you entertain it, you are going to be a slave to it. Period. It is going to enslave you. It is going to be your God. It is going to be the thing that you believe has a say in your world and dictates and determines your outcome. That's a God. It's the same thing, net effect. Don't do it. It never gets better. It never changes. It never ends up as something else. It never leads to a better you. You're just wasting time. Let it go. Get rid of it. You're a parent. You know when you tell your kids no, that's what you meant, and you don't want to hear nothing else about anything else. Well, your awareness said that you are perfect, whole, and complete, lacking nothing. It don't want to hear nothing else from you. And if you want to bring your little self up there and talk about how this and that, it's just going to be looking at you like you look at your kids. Like, let me know when you're done, but I ain't changed my mind. And the longer you keep talking, you just go, now you're not going out. Now tonight is over too. Now, matter of fact, give me that phone. You know, you just start taking, is this what we want to do? Then this is what we're going to do. Let's get real good into it then. It's the same thing, right? Your awareness of being is your father, is the parent, is your I amness. That is the parent to Tamika. And Tamika's the physical Tamika, the physical experience that you're having is the physical expression of what you as Tamika have told your awareness that you are. I'm tired. My leg hurt. I got ADD. I can't see straight. My this. I got, okay. Well, according to your faith, be it unto you. I'm going to turn the power on. Let there be. So just understand that that is your free will in physical form, is what you're choosing to entertain, to tell yourself is true. Now you can say, oh, so-and-so told me this, told me, but you don't understand in the economy. You can do right, you can do whatever you want. But as the great philosopher Walter Webster said, you're either in or you're out. You're either all in or you're not. You're either perfect or you're not. You're literally perfect or you're not. There is no medium. There's no mid, mild, medium salsa. There's nothing in the middle. You're either hot and spicy or you're not. You're either I am or you are not. There is nothing else to be. So go all in or get nothing.
Yeah, I took that in today too when he said that. I was like, yeah.
We keep entertaining these
myself trying to
alternate
go back.
ideas. Yeah, we keep entertaining alternate ideas.
Yeah, and I think it's just the leaves falling off and just me growing and becoming. And it's like sometimes I try to be someone to certain people. And it's just like, it's
Mhm.
just not who I am anymore. It's just not who I healed to be. And so I'm like
Mhm.
getting pulled when I'm like, that's just like, you're just not aligning with who I am now. And so
Mhm.
that is my struggle a lot. Just things that were in my past that's just not aligning with where I am now. And I'm just trying to like make a square fit into a circle, and it's just not. Instead of
Mhm.
just being in my state of I am perfect, and that's all I can be. Like, I don't care who it's for, what it's for. I am perfect. If you can't fit into that, that's just, you gotta go. Got to fall off
We
my
have to,
roof.
well,
Hmm?
like we've been saying the last couple of weeks, everybody wants to grow, but not outgrow.
Yeah.
And you can't, you gotta, like, I want to grow. I want to be a better person. I want to be this. I want to be that. Well, if you're 2 years old and now you're 8, I want to keep the same shoes I had when I was 2.
Yeah.
How do you
Not
do
gonna
that?
work.
So
Yeah.
it's not going to work. So it's not the pain of change. It's the pain of a lack of.
Yeah.
It's a pain of staying the same. That's what's going to cause you the most pain, not the change. It's
Mhm.
staying the same when you're supposed to be changing. You can't grow and think you're not going to outgrow some things, whether those things are people, places, situations, circumstances, conditions. You are going to outgrow some things as a result of your growth. The shoes, we don't have a problem outgrowing. Clothes, we don't have a problem outgrowing. Grades in school, we don't have a problem outgrowing. Everything else is a natural grow and outgrow. But we think over here we're going to grow and not outgrow. It don't work like that.
It don't work like
People get
that.
caught up too. People get passed up too. People get outgrown too. Situations get outgrown too. Everything gets outgrown at some point. That's a part of growth. We outgrow this body. That happens too. Called death. We step on out of it. We keep on pushing as I am. Right. So we have to understand that as well.
Yep.
So just
Thank you.
yes, start with the premise and keep it that way. And
Definitely.
eliminate everything that comes up in your mind that opposes it, and you'll see it's much easier to do. You don't have to try to be perfect. Just be. Just allow that to be. You don't have to try to be Tamika. Tamika is no more real than perfect. Tamika is just a state that I am animated to become alive.
Right.
Perfection is just a state that I am can animate and become alive. So if you don't have to do nothing today to be Tamika, but be Tamika, you don't do nothing today to be perfect, but be perfect. Just allow it. Just know that's who you are. And when you have an ID that says Tamika, well, when you think of yourself as the ID, perfect. It's the same thing.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, everyone. I know it's after 9. Anything else anybody has to say before I let you all go?
Well, I do have a question. I don't know if it's gonna be
Yes.
quick, but I find myself definitely being more at peace lately. Um, just knowing I am and saying certain things, and at the same time still having a certain feeling of like, what's next? But
Mhm.
then, or on top of that, I find myself, because one thing I used to always say, like, my brain doesn't turn off. And so it's always thinking of something that I could be doing, or something that I could be like a business idea or something. Or just knowing that everything, I have everything I need and everything I say I want, but it's coming to me, it's mine. And then I start creating scenarios of how I'm going to get it, or how I got it. And how do I like just stop that portion and just focusing myself more so on being right here, right now, this second, and knowing that it's
Oh, it's
already mine.
easy.
It doesn't matter about the
Oh,
how.
yeah, it's easy. It just takes repetition, practice, time, in the sense of, because everything you believe is not because it's good or bad, right or wrong. It's just because you kept believing it. You kept thinking it over and over, right? So your brain uses information like food. That's what it does. It's just it's thinking because it's using information to keep going, so to speak, just like our stomach uses food to keep going. So so what you do is you tell yourself, like, okay, well, I understand that my brain's job is this, that it's thinking it and it's always replaying things that it's already done. So now when you start identifying yourself as something new, you start telling your brain that this is the way it is. Your brain will get used to this is the way it is, just like it got used to everything else. Because when it first started believing what it already believes now, it was the first time it started believing that too. Every thought starts with a first time. The ones we just think the most, we've been thinking so long we forgot the first time. But every thought starts the same way. So the thoughts that we have now seem so strong because not because of the strength of the thought itself, but because every thought is strengthened through repetition. It's not because they are inherently stronger or weaker than another one. So now that's why there's techniques called affirmations or scripting or, imagining or affirming, whatever. It just, all those things are just a thought that you continue to think, right? Until it becomes a natural thought like the ones you have now. Right. And if you have a natural thought, meaning a thought that you've had that you kept repeating that you no longer want, you replace it with something like, what thought do I want to think instead? I want to think this. So now you start thinking that thought, whether you want to think it out loud, affirming, think it on paper, writing, or just whenever it comes to that area of your life comes to your mind, you start telling yourself the same thing. That's an affirmation. It's not how many times you do it. It's the fact that every time you think of this area, you describe it as you want it to be, as you choose it to be, not as it currently looks or as it has been, right? You understand that your brain is always working with what you've already given it. And so now that you're giving it a new thing, it is most used to this thing. So it's going to keep using it until this thing that you keep telling it starts to look more viable. Like, oh, okay, this thing is growing. This thing is, well, what is that exactly? And it starts to identify itself with a new thing because you keep thinking it, right? Whether that is verbally, written, just in your mind, or every time it comes up, you just keep thinking the same thing over and over, right? And so then it will start to bleed into that old think. That old think, every time you think it, you just like, no, that's not for me. I used to think that, but that's not for me. Your brain is like, man, this is all I got. I don't know anything else. So it keeps, right? But you just understand what's going on. So you don't fight it so much. You just realize like, hey, I understand, like Walter said earlier, like, hey, I understand this is what you're thinking. This is the data I've given you. I realize now this is not the correct data for what I want now. It may not have ever been, but for what I want now, I know that this isn't it. So I'm just going to delete this, erase this. I'm no longer going to repeat that or vibe with that or roll with that. I'm going to now insert this new data, and this is now how we're going to start processing things. And it's like learning how to drive. It's like learning how to put on makeup. It's like learning how to tie a tie. It's like everything is new at the beginning. Everything that's new can feel like a struggle. It's like, God, this tie is tight. It feels like some kind of noose. Like when you're a 9-year-old boy and they make you wear your shirt and tie the first time, you're like, I'm dying. It's too tight. I'm going to die, right? You pin. It's new, right? Or the first time you wear heels or whatever the first things in life that just seem so different, right? But you keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. And then you're like, then after a while, that thing that seems so crazy, now you just slip the shoes on, or you slip the tie on while you're talking to people, and it just seems, but it's the repetition that made it real. It wasn't that the thing itself changed, it's that you became more familiar with this thing that you started repeating, right? Over and over. So choose something to tell yourself that you enjoy so much that you just talk about it all the time. Choose something to tell yourself that you enjoy hearing, right? Like your favorite song, like I'm the best, or I'm the greatest, or I always have the answers. Like, so that you occupy your mind, right, with your good, with your desired end, with your choice, right? And then that will start to be, like Veronica said earlier, like on autopilot. Those things will start, the autopilot will switch. You'll change lanes. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we're thinking now. All right, cool. Because your brain doesn't really care. It just needs something, but it's going to use what it has access to already. It's going to use what it knows already. And so now you're just swapping it out for something new. And then you introduce that. You make a new introduction. And then you just keep thinking that thing and but just give yourself some grace and some time. It's just how the brain works. It's just trying to keep you as you are because that's the identity you've been and it's loyal to it. It's not good or bad. It's just loyal to what you've been. And so when you introduce something new, it's like, what is that? Who is that? I don't know nothing about that. I'm going back where I was. And so now you just have to say, I know you want to, but we're not doing that. This is who we are now. This is just what it is. And you keep, and it'll merge.
I saw Vera. Thank you, Coach.
That's it.
Vera.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Great question. Great
I
question.
received that.
There you go. It's a great question, right? It's a great question. Great question. All right. Anybody else?
All right. Awesome. Awesome. It was a great, great, great session today. Um, Thank you everyone for coming. I do want to say that we now have 3 different ways you can join the youth circle. Meaning you can choose your path. You can choose whether you want to do weekly one-on-ones, twice a month, or monthly. So we heard y'all and we made some adjustments and some options. We actually made some options for y'all. So don't forget that the real shift really happens inside the youth circle. Saturdays is just the game, but the real practice, this is where we get these little inside jokes that we know, only we know what we're talking about, and we're not going to tell everybody else because we got to keep it special. and Lucky's working on his swoop, as you guys can see. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. And we will see you all next week.
Yes, have a great week, everyone. We practice, get out there and play. Apply it to the best of your ability. Be a doer, not a hearer, and you'll see. You'll see who you are increasingly, right? So get out there and do it. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of the weekend, and we'll see you all next